Imagine that everything you seek is already within you. It's not far, nor is it somewhere you have to run toward. The very essence of your desires exists right now in the realm of your imagination. And this is where the journey truly begins. When you stop chasing after what you want, you realize that the key to everything you desire has always been inside of you, waiting to be unlocked. The first step is simple: assume the feeling of already having what you want. It is not enough to think about your desires, you must feel them as real now. The sensation of having what you desire, the emotions that come with it, and the certainty that it is yours must become your new state of being. Feel the joy, the peace, the satisfaction of having it, not as a distant hope, but as an undeniable reality within you. This is where many go wrong. They focus on the lack. The more you chase, the more you declare that it is not yet yours. You chase because you feel separated from what you desire, and that feeling of separation is the very thing that pushes it away. So stop running, stop seeking outside of yourself, and turn inward. Your world reflects what you hold within. Faith is not just belief, it is the unwavering knowing that what you desire is already done. The physical world you see before you is only a reflection of your inner world. When you trust in the unseen, in that quiet space where your desires are already fulfilled, the external world must follow suit. Your imagination is not a fantasy, it is the blueprint for your reality. As you see it, so it will be. Now, live in the end. Do not wait for your desires to arrive. Act as though they are already yours. Walk, speak, and think as if your wish is fulfilled. The process of getting there is irrelevant. Your focus should be on the end result, the moment you are already experiencing what you have imagined. When you live in the end, the means of arrival will unfold naturally. Assume your desires are not just possible, but already happening. The law of assumption says that your assumption becomes your reality. You become the person who already has everything you seek. Your thoughts and feelings must align with your desired outcome. Think as though it is already done, feel as though it is already done, and watch as the world around you shifts to reflect this new assumption. Finally, release the need for time. Time does not measure your desires. The moment you stop waiting for your manifestation to appear and release any doubt or impatience, you open the door for your desires to flow to you effortlessly. Time is but an illusion. What matters is the state you choose to live in now, the state of already having. So stop chasing. Your desires are not out of reach. They are already yours. Just stop chasing, assume the feeling, and let them come to you. Everything you desire exists within your imagination. Your imagination is not just a tool for daydreaming or fantasy. It is the very mechanism that shapes and creates your reality. The world you experience, the events you encounter, and the people you meet are all reflections of the images, thoughts, and feelings you hold within your mind. The power of imagination is the key to transforming your life, not by physical action or external effort, but through aligning your inner world with the desires of your heart. Imagine for a moment that everything you've ever wanted is already here, within the vast expanse of your mind. It is not a far-off future or a distant goal. What you seek exists as an image, a feeling, or a thought right now. The challenge is not in seeking it from the outside, but in recognizing that it already resides within you. Every possibility, every dream, every experience, every success, and every relationship you wish for is already contained in the vast creative potential of your mind. In this way, imagination is not some abstract concept, but a living, breathing force capable of transforming your life. When you focus your attention on what you desire and mold it within the theater of your imagination, you are giving it life. Every picture you hold in your mind, every scene you visualize, and every emotion you attach to those images is a step closer to manifesting it in your physical world. Too often people fall into the trap of chasing external circumstances, believing that they must act, work, or struggle in the physical world to obtain what they want. They are conditioned to think that success, wealth, love, or happiness are outside of them, to be earned or pursued through physical effort. However, the truth is that the world you see around you is a mirror of your inner state. The more you focus on the external chase, the more you reinforce the feeling that what you want is separate from you, out of reach, or beyond your control. The moment you shift your focus from the external chase to the internal alignment, things begin to change. When you align your inner world with your desires, your outer world begins to shift. The images you hold in your mind are not just fleeting thoughts, they are blueprints for your reality. Every time you imagine yourself in a desired situation, you are preparing the ground for that reality to manifest. The more vividly and consistently you hold that image, the more it takes form in the physical world. Imagination is the bridge between your present reality and your desired reality. The mind doesn't distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It takes whatever you feed it, processes it, and reflects it back to you in your outer world. This is where true power lies, not in striving or working hard to obtain what you desire, but in aligning yourself with the feeling of having it now. The law of attraction, the law of assumption, and many other spiritual principles all point to the same truth: your reality is a reflection of your internal state. When you can imagine your desired reality with such clarity and conviction that you feel as though it has already happened, the physical world begins to rearrange itself to match that internal state. One of the most powerful aspects of imagination is its ability to bypass the limitations of the physical world. In your imagination, there are no barriers, no time constraints, and no obstacles. You can create anything you want, and you can experience it as if it's happening right now. The feeling of having what you desire must be real, alive, and present in your mind. The more real it feels to you internally, the more likely it is to materialize externally. The process of manifestation is not about trying to get something, it's about becoming the person who already has it. By vividly imagining yourself in possession of your desires, you begin to assume the feeling of already having them. This is where the true power of imagination lies, not just in creating mental pictures, but in feeling the reality of those pictures. When you can feel the joy, the peace, the excitement, or the satisfaction that comes with having your desires, you are no longer chasing them. You are allowing them to come to you. The universe operates in harmony with your internal state. When you embody the feeling of already having what you desire, it must manifest in your outer world. This is not to say that physical action or effort is unnecessary, but it is important to understand that the primary work begins within. Action, when taken, is the result of inner alignment. It is not the means of obtaining your desires, but a natural consequence of the belief that they are already yours. When you begin to feel as though your desires are already fulfilled, the action you take will be inspired, effortless, and in perfect alignment with your inner state. The physical chase becomes unnecessary because you are no longer searching for what is already yours. In summary, everything you desire exists within the realm of your imagination. The key is not to chase after it in the physical world, but to align your inner world with the reality of already having it. By using your imagination to vividly create and embody the feeling of having what you want, you invite it into your life. Imagination is not a passive process, it is an active, creative force that shapes your reality. When you stop chasing and begin to align, you will discover that everything you desire is already on its way to you. To manifest your desires, you must assume the feeling of already having what you want. This is not a passive thought or a fleeting wish, but an active and vibrant assumption. The key to creation lies not in intellectual belief, but in emotional embodiment. It's not enough to think about your desires or visualize them occasionally. You must live in the feeling of having them now. The feeling is the essence of your wish fulfilled, and it is this feeling that attracts the manifestation of your desires into your life. When you assume the feeling, you are stepping into the consciousness of someone who already possesses what they seek. This is the most powerful step in the process of manifestation, because emotions are the driving force behind all creation. The feeling of having what you want is what gives life to your desires. It breathes life into them and brings them into reality. It's not about mentally acknowledging what you want, but about sinking deeply into the emotional experience of already having it. Imagine, for example, that you desire a new job, a home, or a loving relationship. You can visualize these things all day long, but unless you feel as though you already have them, you will remain disconnected from their manifestation. The feeling is the bridge between your imagination and your physical reality. It is through feeling that you activate the law of attraction, the law of assumption, or any principle that governs creation. The assumption that your desire is already fulfilled must be felt with the same intensity, authenticity, and emotional resonance as if it were already a reality in your life. The mind doesn't distinguish between what is imagined and what is physically real, but the emotional body reacts differently to each. When you assume the feeling of having your desires, your body responds as though those desires are already part of your current reality. You begin to vibrate at the frequency of your desire. This frequency is then matched by the external world, and as a result, your reality begins to shift. What you desire begins to manifest not through external actions, but through the alignment of your internal feelings with your desire. This assumption, however, is not a passing emotion. It must be a living, breathing, consistent state of being. The key to creating your desires lies in the consistency with which you assume the feeling. Just as you would practice any habit, you must practice feeling as though you already have what you want. This is not about wishing or hoping, it's about embodying the emotional state of already being in possession of your desires. When you assume this feeling, your actions, words, and thoughts all naturally align with the assumption that your desires are already yours. You begin to see the world through the lens of your wish fulfilled, and this changes the way you respond to circumstances, opportunities, and even challenges. Assuming the feeling of already having what you want also means releasing any attachment to how or when it will come. It's important to recognize that the moment you assume the feeling, you let go of the need to control the process. When you are in the feeling of already having, you have no need to look for the manifestation, because you are no longer in a state of lack. Lack comes from the feeling of needing something to complete you. But when you assume the feeling of already being complete, you no longer search for what you want in the external world. You trust that the world will reflect your internal state, and that your desires will manifest in their own perfect timing. The feeling you assume is not a mental exercise. It is not just about thinking, I have this now, but about feeling as though it is already part of your reality. If you want to manifest a loving relationship, for example, you must feel the warmth, affection, and connection of being in that relationship. If you desire success, you must feel the pride, satisfaction, and confidence of already achieving it. It is this emotional state that activates the process of manifestation. Your feelings are the energy that moves creation forward. It is important to note that the feeling of already having your desires must be deeply rooted in the present moment. You cannot be focused on the future or past when assuming this feeling. The feeling must be in the now. It is not about imagining how you will feel when you receive your desires in the future, but about deeply inhabiting the emotional experience of having them right now. This presence in the moment is where the power lies. The more real the feeling is to you, the more powerful your assumption becomes, and the faster your desires begin to materialize. In this process, you must trust that your emotional state is creating your reality. When you feel as though your desires are already fulfilled, you cease to chase them, for you have already arrived. You live as though you are the person who already has what they want, and this shifts your reality to reflect that truth. By assuming the feeling of your desires already being fulfilled, you allow the universe to respond to your inner state, bringing your desires to you in ways that may surprise and delight you. The moment you feel a lack of something, you are unknowingly reinforcing its absence. Lack is not merely a condition or a state of being, it is a belief, a feeling that something is missing from your life. When you focus on what you lack, you are essentially affirming to yourself that you do not have what you desire. This belief becomes a powerful force in shaping your reality, keeping you in a cycle of wanting without ever truly receiving. The key to manifesting your desires lies in understanding that lack itself is the very thing that prevents you from attracting what you want. When you feel a sense of lack, you are giving energy to the idea that you are separate from your desires. You believe that there is a gap between you and what you seek, and this belief creates an emotional and energetic distance. The more you focus on the absence of what you want, the more you reinforce the idea that it is out of your reach. You continue to feel that you are missing something, and the universe, in perfect harmony with your internal state, reflects this belief back to you by keeping your desires just out of reach. This is why it is so important to release the feeling of lack and shift your focus to the reality of already having. The universe does not operate based on your physical actions alone. It responds to your inner world, your thoughts, your emotions, and your beliefs. The law of attraction, the law of assumption, and other universal principles are not concerned with what you are physically doing to acquire your desires. They are focused on the energy you are emitting. When you feel lack, you are sending out a signal that says, I am separate from my desires, and the universe aligns with that feeling, keeping your desires distant. It's not about what you do on the outside, but about what you believe and feel on the inside. When you stop seeking outside yourself, you cease reinforcing this feeling of separation. Many people fall into the trap of seeking solutions, opportunities, and fulfillment in the external world, believing that their desires are something to be acquired. They chase after wealth, love, success, or approval, thinking that they must find these things outside themselves. The truth, however, is that everything you desire is already within you. The moment you stop seeking externally and turn inward, you realize that what you are truly seeking is not something you must get or attain, but something you must allow. Seeking outside yourself only perpetuates the belief that you are incomplete, that you need something from the outside to feel whole. The more you chase, the more you reinforce this belief. You become fixated on the idea that what you want is not already yours, and in doing so, you push it further away. Instead, shift your focus to the internal state of already having. When you live as if your desires are already fulfilled, you are no longer seeking them in the external world. You are no longer trying to attain something, you are simply allowing it to come to you because you are already aligned with the feeling of having it now. The shift from lack to abundance requires a deep trust in the process of creation. You must trust that the universe responds to your internal state. If you are feeling lack, the universe can only mirror that feeling by keeping your desires at a distance. But when you feel as though your desires are already fulfilled, when you feel the peace, the joy, the satisfaction of already having, the universe will begin to reflect that back to you. Abundance flows when you are in alignment with the feeling of having, not when you are desperately searching for something outside yourself to fill the void. Letting go of lack also means letting go of attachment to outcomes. It is not about controlling how or when your desires will come into your life. When you focus on the absence of your desires, you become attached to the idea that they are still on their way and not yet here. This attachment only strengthens the feeling of lack, because it reinforces the belief that your desires are separate from you. Instead, trust that your desires are already in motion, even when you cannot see them with your physical eyes. When you stop seeking, you allow them to manifest naturally and effortlessly. The key to letting go of lack is to reframe your perception of the world around you. See yourself as whole and complete, not in need of anything. Recognize that you are not waiting for something to fill a void, but that you are already whole. Your desires are simply an expression of the abundance that already exists within you. The more you feel the completeness of your being, the more the external world will reflect that sense of wholeness, and the things you desire will effortlessly come to you. In summary, the moment you feel a lack of something, you are reinforcing the idea that it is absent from your life. The more you seek outside yourself, the more you reinforce the separation between you and your desires. Stop focusing on what is missing and start focusing on the reality of already having. When you align with the feeling of fulfillment, you will no longer need to chase after what you want. You will naturally attract it, because the universe reflects your internal state. The physical world is just an illusion of your inner beliefs. What you see before you, the people, the circumstances, the events, is a direct reflection of the thoughts and feelings you hold within. It is not the world that shapes your beliefs, it is your beliefs that shape the world. The reality you experience is nothing more than a projection of your inner world, a mirror that reflects your assumptions, your desires, and your beliefs. Therefore, to change your outer reality, you must first change your inner state. Faith in the unseen is the key to understanding that what you experience in the physical world is not the full picture. There is a deeper, unseen world that governs the material reality, and it is this unseen world, your imagination, your assumptions, your inner beliefs, that shapes everything you encounter. Most people focus only on what is visible, on what they can see, hear, touch, and measure. They believe that their current reality is the final truth and that their desires are something to be obtained in the future. But in reality, everything that exists in the physical world was first created in the unseen realm of your mind. The unseen is the source, the foundation, the origin of all that is manifest. This is where faith comes into play. To manifest your desires, you must have faith in what cannot be seen. You must trust in the unseen world of your imagination and inner beliefs as though it were as real, if not more real, than the physical world you interact with daily. When you accept the unseen world of your mind as real, you are acknowledging that your imagination is not a mere fantasy, but a creative force that has the power to shape your outer reality. The things you imagine and assume to be true in your mind will eventually materialize in the physical world. Because the physical world is simply a reflection of the invisible, mental world. Faith in the unseen requires you to trust that what you cannot yet see, touch, or experience in the physical world is just as real as what is currently before you. The moment you stop doubting the power of your imagination and start believing that it is the starting point of all creation, you begin to experience its manifestation. If you want to change your life, you must first accept that your internal reality is the blueprint for your external reality. Your desires, goals, and dreams are not mere hopes for the future. They are already alive and real within your mind. The more real you make them feel in your imagination, the more they will materialize in your physical experience. Faith in the unseen also means trusting that the process of manifestation is already at work, even when you cannot see the evidence of it in your physical reality. Often people grow impatient and frustrated when they cannot immediately see their desires manifest. They become fixated on what they can physically observe, and in doing so, they block the manifestation process. But true faith lies in knowing that the unseen work is being done. Just because you cannot see it does not mean it is not happening. The universe is always working behind the scenes, bringing your desires into being. The more you trust in this unseen process, the more you will begin to see the fruits of your faith reflected in your external world. It is important to understand that the unseen world is not separate from you. It is not some distant realm or abstract concept. The unseen world is within you. It is the realm of your thoughts, your imagination, your assumptions, and your feelings. You are the creator of this unseen world, and it is through your internal state that you shape your external reality. By accepting this, you empower yourself to become the master of your own life. You no longer have to wait for external circumstances to change in order to experience the life you desire. Instead, you can begin to create that life right now by changing the way you think, feel, and assume. When you begin to accept the unseen world as real, you shift from a place of waiting for things to happen to a place of knowing that they are already happening. You stop waiting for the physical evidence to appear and begin to trust in the inner evidence, the feeling, the thought, the assumption that your desires are already on their way. This shift in perception is the key to creating your reality. By focusing on the unseen, you allow it to take shape in the physical world. The unseen world is the world of creation, and the more you align with it, the more the physical world will reflect your inner state. Ultimately, faith in the unseen is about trusting the creative power that exists within you. It is about believing that what you imagine and assume to be true will eventually manifest, even when there is no physical evidence to support it. It is about knowing that the physical world is not the source of your desires, but the result of your inner beliefs. When you embrace the unseen as the true source of creation, you open yourself to a life of limitless possibilities, where everything you desire is already within reach. By accepting the unseen world as real, you begin to witness its manifestation in the physical world. Living in the end is a powerful principle in the process of manifestation. It is the practice of acting as though what you desire has already come to pass. This is not simply a mental exercise, but a full embodiment of the end result. To live in the end means to stop focusing on the how or the when of your desires and instead to focus solely on the state of having already received what you want. When you act as though your desire has already been fulfilled, you align your inner state with the reality you wish to create, and in doing so, you make the manifestation inevitable. When you live in the end, you step into the consciousness of someone who already has what they desire. This is not about waiting for external circumstances to change, but about shifting your internal state to one of already having. It is about living in the feeling of fulfillment, peace, and satisfaction, as though your desires have already manifested. The more you embody this state, the more your outer world will begin to reflect it. The physical world is simply a mirror of your inner state, and when you live in the end, the reflection of your desires will begin to show up in your life. The key to living in the end is to detach from the process of manifestation. The process is an illusion. It is simply the way that your desires unfold in time. It is not the process that brings you what you want, but your alignment with the end result. When you focus too much on the process, you become distracted and start to doubt whether or not your desires will ever come to fruition. Instead, you must trust that the process will unfold naturally when you stay focused on the end result, which is your desire already fulfilled. The more you focus on the end result, the more the process will take care of itself. Living in the end also means that you must stop looking for evidence of your desires in the physical world. Most people wait for something to happen before they believe it is real. They believe they need to see the evidence of their desires manifesting before they can feel fulfilled or successful. But the truth is, the evidence is not out there in the world, it is inside you. When you feel as though your desire is already fulfilled, you are creating the internal environment that will bring it into being. The outer world will eventually reflect this inner state. So stop waiting for something to happen before you believe it is possible. Start living as though it has already happened. Living in the end also requires a deep level of trust. Trust that the moment you assume the end result, everything else will fall into place. Trust that the universe will align with your assumption and bring the people, circumstances, and opportunities necessary to make it a reality. When you trust the process, you no longer need to worry about how things will unfold or when they will happen. You live in the certainty that what you desire is already yours, and that it is simply a matter of time before it becomes visible in your physical experience. This does not mean that you become passive or inactive. Living in the end does not mean sitting back and waiting for your desires to come to you without any effort. On the contrary, when you embody the end result, you naturally take inspired actions that are in alignment with your desires. The difference is that these actions are not driven by a sense of lack or need. They are driven by the joy, fulfillment, and satisfaction of already having what you want. When you live in the state of having already received, you move through the world with confidence and purpose, knowing that your desires are already part of your reality. It is also important to recognize that living in the end requires consistency. This is not a one-time act of assuming the end result. It is a way of living, a state of being. To fully embody the end result, you must continually align your thoughts, feelings, and actions with the belief that your desires have already come to fruition. The more consistently you live in the end, the more quickly your desires will manifest. The universe responds to your inner state, and when you maintain the energy of already having, you become a magnet for the physical manifestation of your desires. In summary, living in the end is about embodying the state of already having your desires. It is about shifting your focus from the process to the end result and living as though your desires are already fulfilled. When you do this, the process of manifestation unfolds naturally, and the physical world will reflect the inner reality you have created. Trust that your desires are already yours, and let go of the need to control the how and when. The more you live in the end, the more your desires will come to you effortlessly. The law of assumption states that whatever you assume to be true in your mind becomes your reality. The key to this powerful principle is understanding that your thoughts and feelings are not just passive reflections of the world around you. They are the creative forces that shape your experience. What you assume to be true, whether consciously or unconsciously, will manifest in your life. This means that by assuming the best version of yourself and the world around you, you are effectively creating that version of yourself and the world. Your assumptions become the foundation of your new reality. To apply the law of assumption, you must first recognize that your internal state is the source of everything you experience externally. The thoughts you hold, the beliefs you nurture, and the feelings you carry are the building blocks of your life. When you assume that the best version of yourself exists, when you assume success, abundance, love, and joy, these assumptions will eventually become your reality. It's not about waiting for the world to change and then adjusting your thoughts. It's about changing your thoughts and assuming the best, regardless of the external circumstances. When you do this, the world around you begins to reflect those assumptions. Your assumptions are like seeds that you plant in your mind. Just as a seed grows into a tree, your assumptions grow into the reality you experience. If you assume that you are worthy of success and happiness, you will begin to take actions, make decisions, and meet people who align with that assumption. If you assume the world is a place of abundance, you will begin to see opportunities for wealth and prosperity everywhere you look. The power of assumption lies in its ability to influence your thoughts and actions in such a way that it creates the very circumstances you believe are possible. The law of assumption works in a way that is independent of current circumstances. This means that even if the outside world does not yet reflect your assumptions, you must continue to assume the outcome you desire with confidence and certainty. For example, if you desire a new job, but you are currently unemployed, do not focus on the lack of a job. Instead, assume that the best version of yourself is already working in a job that you love. Assume that you are already successful, already qualified, and already valuable. Your thoughts and feelings will naturally align with this assumption, and you will begin to take the necessary actions to bring that reality into your experience. This assumption of the desired outcome also means that you must adopt a mindset of confidence and self-belief. Often people limit their potential by assuming the worst, believing they are not good enough, not worthy, or not capable of achieving their desires. These negative assumptions create a reality where success is out of reach. The law of assumption invites you to let go of these limiting beliefs and instead assume the best. Assume that you are capable of achieving whatever you set your mind to. Assume that the universe supports you in every endeavor. By doing this, you begin to shift your energy and vibration to match the outcome you desire. The beauty of the law of assumption is its simplicity. You do not need to work hard to change the outer world directly. Instead, you change the inner world, and the outer world follows suit. It's not about waiting for things to happen. It's about assuming they already have. The more consistently you assume the best version of yourself and the best possible outcomes, the more your reality will shift to reflect those assumptions. It's important to recognize that your assumptions must be rooted in the feeling of having already received what you desire. This is not a wish or a hope, but a deep, unshakable belief. Your thoughts and feelings must align with the assumption that your desires are already part of your reality. This alignment is what activates the law of assumption, allowing it to bring your desires into the physical world. It's not enough to simply think positive thoughts. You must fully embody the assumption, living as though your desired outcome is already true. One of the most powerful aspects of the law of assumption is that it frees you from the need to control every aspect of the manifestation process. Once you assume the best version of yourself and your desires, you release the need to figure out the how and when of their arrival. You trust that by embodying the assumption, everything will unfold naturally and the world will begin to align with your inner beliefs. The more you trust in your assumptions, the more you let go of any doubts or fears, and the quicker your desires will manifest. In summary, the law of assumption is about assuming the best version of yourself and the world around you. Your thoughts and feelings shape your reality. So by focusing on assuming the outcome you desire, you begin to align your inner world with your external world. It is not about waiting for circumstances to change, but about changing your assumptions to create the reality you want. The more you live in the assumption of success, abundance, and love, the more these qualities will manifest in your life. By trusting in the power of your assumptions, you can create the life you desire with confidence and ease. Detachment from time is one of the most powerful principles in the manifestation process. Time, as most people understand it, is simply a construct of the physical world, and it does not have any real power over your desires. The belief that your desires are bound by time is what creates a sense of urgency, impatience, and struggle. But the moment you detach from the idea that time is a limiting factor, you allow your desires to come to you effortlessly. Time does not control when your manifestations will appear. It is your inner state of being that determines when they show up. When you are impatient and constantly focused on the when of your desires, you are unconsciously reinforcing the belief that your desires are outside of you and that you must wait for them to come to you. This creates resistance. You start to feel as if your desires are not yet real, as if you need to wait for external circumstances to align. But the truth is that the moment you shift your focus from the outside world to your inner world, the manifestation of your desires is already in motion. Time is not a factor, it is the alignment of your thoughts, feelings, and assumptions with your desires that brings them into being. The key to detaching from time is to let go of the need for immediate results. When you stop looking at the clock and constantly checking if your desires are manifesting, you free yourself from the pressure of time. This pressure can create stress and anxiety, which can block the natural flow of manifestation. Instead, trust that your desires are already on their way, and know that they will arrive at the perfect time when you are fully aligned with the feeling of already having them. The universe does not operate on the same linear timeline that the physical world does. It operates on the energy you put out, and that energy will attract your desires when the vibrational match is made. One of the most profound shifts you can make in your manifestation journey is to stop measuring the progress of your desires by the passage of time. When you detach from time, you stop looking for signs of progress and start living as if your desires are already a part of your reality. This shift in perception is powerful because it places the focus on your inner state where the real work of manifestation occurs. The more you feel the reality of your desires, the more your external world will shift to reflect that. Another important aspect of detaching from time is understanding that the universe works in its own timing, which is always aligned with your highest good. The more you trust in this divine timing, the more effortless the manifestation process becomes. It is easy to become frustrated when you don't see immediate results, but that frustration is a form of attachment to time. It is a belief that things should happen now, rather than trusting that they will happen when they are meant to. When you let go of the need for immediate results, you create space for your desires to come to you naturally and without resistance. Living in the present moment is another powerful way to detach from time. When you focus on the present moment and fully embrace the feeling of already having your desires, you are no longer focused on the future or waiting for something to happen. You are living in the state of fulfillment, peace, and satisfaction. This shifts your energy to a higher frequency, which naturally attracts your desires. The more present you are, the less you feel the pressure of time, and the more you allow your desires to unfold effortlessly. It is also important to recognize that detachment from time does not mean giving up on your desires or abandoning your goals. It means releasing the need to control the timing of their arrival. By doing so, you trust that your desires are already on their way and that everything is unfolding perfectly, regardless of what the clock says. This trust is what allows the universe to deliver your desires in the most harmonious way possible. When you stop attaching your desires to a specific time frame, you open yourself to the possibility of receiving them in ways you might not have expected. The universe may bring your desires to you in ways that are even better than you could have imagined, but if you are too focused on the timing, you might miss these opportunities. Letting go of the attachment to time allows you to be open to receiving your desires in any form, at the right time, and in the best possible way. In summary, detaching from time is about releasing the need for immediate results and trusting in the divine timing of the universe. Time does not affect your manifestations, it is your inner alignment with your desires that brings them into being. When you stop focusing on the when and stop waiting for your desires to appear, you allow them to come to you effortlessly. Trust that your desires are already on their way, and that they will manifest in perfect harmony with the natural flow of the universe. By letting go of impatience and attachment to time, you open the door to a world of effortless manifestation, where everything you desire flows to you with ease. The process of manifestation is not about chasing after what you desire or forcing things to happen. It is about aligning your inner world with your deepest desires, embodying the feeling of already having them, and trusting in the natural flow of life. When you understand that your imagination holds the key to creating your reality, and you begin to assume the best version of yourself and the world around you, you tap into a powerful force that brings your dreams to life. Detaching from time and the need for immediate results allows you to surrender to the process, trusting that your desires are already on their way. By letting go of impatience, feeling the reality of your wishes fulfilled, and trusting in the unseen forces at work, you invite your desires into your life effortlessly. Your thoughts and feelings shape the world around you, and when you live in the state of having already received what you want, your reality will shift to match that assumption. The law of assumption, the power of your imagination, and the release of attachment to time are the tools that create the life you desire. Remember, the universe responds to your inner state, and the moment you stop chasing and start living as if your desires are already yours, you align yourself with the abundant flow of the universe. Your desires will come to you, not because you chased them, but because you aligned yourself with their reality and trusted in the perfect timing. The power is within you, trust in it, assume the best, and watch as your life unfolds in ways beyond your imagination.